"Get her out of my sight," Mr. Arthur Vance hissed, not even bothering to look at the black maid polishing the lobby's grand piano. The second Mr. Chen arrives, she is to be nowhere near this lobby. The opulent, marble-floored lobby of the Hawthorne Grand Hotel was a symphony of anxious activity. It was a crisp October morning, and outside the grand, floor-to-ceiling windows, the Boston Common was ablaze in fiery autumn colors. The air inside smelled of expensive floral arrangements, lilies and roses, and the sharp tang of lemon polish, the very polish Sarah Jenkins was currently using. Mr. Arthur Vance, the hotel's general manager, paced the floor. He was a man in his mid-50s, impeccably dressed in a suit that cost more than Sarah's monthly rent, his face tight with anxiety. He tapped his state-of-the-art smartphone, checking his reflection in the blank screen, then adjusted his already perfectly dimpled tie. Today was not just another day. It was the day. "Listen up," he snapped at his assembled executive team. The food and beverage manager flinched. The concierge stood unnaturally still. "This isn't just an investment. It's our gateway to the Asian market. Mr. Chen's 10 a.m. arrival is the most important event this hotel has seen in a decade. Do not fail me." He stalked over to a floral arrangement on a nearby table and nudged a single rose half an inch to the left, his obsession with details on full display. He dismissed them with a sharp wave. "Go. Go. Ensure everything is perfect." As the team scattered, he pulled Emma, the head of housekeeping, aside. "Emma," he said, his voice dropping low. "That new girl, Sarah." His eyes flicked toward Sarah's back. "Keep her off this floor. Mr. Chen is particular. I don't want any distractions." His meaning, referencing Sarah's race, was perfectly, painfully clear. A few minutes later, Sarah was in the cramped, fluorescent-lit basement break room for her 10-minute break. The room smelled of bleach, and the hum of the vending machine was the only sound. She pulled out her phone and the notification glared at her. Payment past due. She sighed, the weight of her Harvard master's degree pressing down on her. It felt like a very expensive, framed piece of paper in her tiny apartment, one that couldn't pay the bills. She tucked her phone away next to a well-worn copy of The Economist. Emma found her there, her face apologetic, avoiding eye contact. "Sarah," she said, twisting her hands. "Mr. Vance wants you cleaning the 10th floor service closets for the next 2 hours. Just stay up there until I call you." Sarah looked up from her magazine, the familiar sting of prejudice masked by a professional calm she had perfected over years of being overlooked. She nodded. "Yes, Emma." The main doors of the lobby swung open. A valet rushed in. "Mr. Vance." "They're early." Vance straightens his tie and forces a wide, panicked smile. "Showtime. We're only at the end of chapter 1, and the tension is high. Sarah has been unfairly hidden, and Mr. Vance is about to face his most important guest. If you're still watching and you feel the injustice of Sarah's situation, please comment with the number 8 below to let us know you're here and standing with her. And if you haven't subscribed, we highly recommend you join the Black Brilliance community and turn on that bell so you don't miss a single video. Your support helps us continue to create powerful content that informs and inspires. Now, let's see what happens at showtime. "Mr. Chen, welcome to the Hawthorne Grand." "We are so honored." Arthur Vance boomed, extending a hand just as the billionaire stepped onto the marble floor. Mr. Chen, a man in his 60s wearing a sharp bespoke suit, offered only a curt nod, ignoring the extended hand, the first cultural misstep. He immediately began speaking rapid-fire Mandarin to his associates, gesturing at the hotel's historic architecture. Up on the 10th floor, Sarah Jenkins pushed her cart into the dark service closet, the door clicking shut behind her. She leaned against the wall in the cramped space, feeling the familiar, heavy sting of being made invisible, just as Vance had ordered. Back in the lobby, Vance laughed nervously. "Wonderful. Wonderful. This way to the conference room." He led the entourage into the sterile executive room, dominated by a large mahogany table. A platter of untouched pastries, meant for American small talk, sat awkwardly in the center. "Coffee? Tea?" Vance offered, his smile feeling brittle. "The weather in Boston is lovely this time of year, isn't it?" Mr. Chen just looked at him, his expression unreadable. Vance turned to the aide, Ms. Lin. "He speaks English, correct?" My assistant confirmed. Miss Lin, a professional woman in her mid-40s, replied in perfect, cool English. Mr. Chen finds it more efficient to conduct business in his native tongue. Efficient? Yes. Vance's panic began to rise, sweat beading on his forehead. Of course. No problem at all. Technology is wonderful. He fumbled for his smartphone, pulling up the top-dollar AI translation app. He held it up. Please, he urged. Mr. Chen spoke into the phone, asking a complex, technical question about the building's structural integrity for potential renovations. Vance waited, smiling. The phone's robotic voice finally blurted out, "The house is old. Are the birds happy?" Mr. Chen's face darkened. This was a massive insult to his business inquiry. Vance, not understanding, tried again, speaking slowly and loudly as if to a child. "We offer the best rooms." The app processed this, then announced in Mandarin, "Your bed is full of acid water." One of Mr. Chen's younger associates stifled a laugh. Mr. Chen says something sharp and final to Ms. Lin. Ms. Lin stands. Mr. Chen asks if you are serious. He wonders why he flew 14 hours for a meeting you are not prepared for. Serious? Of course we're serious. It's just a technical glitch. Vance stammered, frantically wiping his useless phone on his suit jacket. The tension in the executive conference room was so thick it was hard to breathe. The untouched pastries and cooling coffee sat in the center of the table like a mocking centerpiece. Meanwhile, Sarah, having finished the service closets, was now cleaning the executive suite next to the conference room. The connecting door was thin. She heard the raised, frustrated tones of the Mandarin conversation clearly. She winced, recognizing the specific financial dialect, language she hadn't heard since her fellowship in Beijing. Mr. Vance was now openly desperate. He could feel his promotion, his reputation, slipping away. Ms. Lin sighed, her professional patience wearing thin. She translated Mr. Chen's next barrage of highly specific questions. Mr. Chen is asking about the state's foreign investment tax incentives, specifically the amendments passed last quarter, and the municipal zoning laws for mixed-use development in this district. Vance stared blankly. His team shuffled their papers, looking anywhere but at the Chinese delegation. They were prepared for a marketing slideshow on thread counts and room service, not a legal exam. I need to get our legal team on the phone for that, Vance said weakly. That's highly specific. Mr. Chen scoffed, a sound that needed no translation. He spoke to Ms. Lin, who translated. Mr. Chen says these are basic due diligence questions. He is concerned you are wasting his time. His associates were already closing their leather portfolios. Vance, seeing the deal evaporating, made a final, desperate plea. Please, Mr. Chen, allow us to reschedule for tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. sharp. We will have a proper interpreter and our legal team present. Mr. Chen stood up, calmly buttoning his suit jacket. He spoke in a measured, final tone. Ms. Lin translated the death blow. Mr. Chen thanks you for the pastries. He has another meeting with the Four Seasons this afternoon. He will not be rescheduling. As Vance watched his career end, and Mr. Chen turned to leave the room, a quiet, clear voice cut through the silence from the doorway. Excuse me, Mr. Chen? What a disaster. Mr. Vance has failed, and the deal is walking out the door. But Sarah just stepped in. If you are still watching and you value seeing this intense story unfold, please comment with the number 8 below to let us know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we highly recommend you join the Black Brilliance community and turn on that bell so you don't miss the powerful moments coming next. Your support helps us continue to create great content that informs and inspires you. Now let's continue. Every head in the conference room snapped toward the doorway. Mr. Vance, red-faced and desperate, turned on Sarah. Not now. Get out. Can't you see we are in a... But his words died in his throat. Sarah ignored him. She walked calmly past him toward the table, her hands steady, and looked directly at Mr. Chen. The air was frozen. Mr. Chen and his associates had paused, their hands hovering over their briefcases. The uneaten pastries in the center of the table seemed to emphasize the failure of Vance's hospitality. Then Sarah spoke. She began to speak in flawless academic Mandarin, not the conversational Mandarin of a tourist, but the precise, complex language of finance and law. Mr. Chen, she said in Mandarin, her voice clear and strong. My apologies for the interruption. I was in the next room and couldn't help but overhear. Your question regarding the zoning ordinances for mixed-use properties is excellent. The translation app was failing. It cannot capture the nuance of the new municipal tax abatement program. The associates stopped packing. Ms. Lin's mouth opened slightly in disbelief. Mr. Chen's eyes widened, his frustration visibly replaced by sharp, intelligent curiosity. Vance looked like he'd seen a ghost. What is she saying? He whispered to no one. Sarah continued, her confidence growing. Mr. Vance's team was unprepared, but the information is favorable. The new Boston Ordinance, Code 77A, passed last quarter, actually favors foreign investment in this district, similar to Shanghai's 2018 policy, but only if the development includes public access cultural space. Your app was translating incentive as chicken. Mr. Chen stared at Sarah, a look of astonishment on his face. He fired back a question in rapid, complex Mandarin. You understand Ordinance 77A? Who are you? Mr. Chen's question, who are you, hung in the air, a demand that ignored everyone else at the table, especially the stunned Mr. Vance. The atmosphere in the conference room had shifted from icy tension to stunned silence, with all scrutiny now focused on Sarah. Sarah recalled the payment past due notification from her phone. The education that had caused her so much debt was now her only lifeline, and she stood tall. My name is Sarah Jenkins, sir, she replied in perfect Mandarin. I have a master's degree in international business from Harvard, with a specialization in East Asian markets. I studied at Beijing University for 2 years as part of my fellowship. She then switched to perfect, clear English for the benefit of Mr. Vance and his pale-faced team. I am currently employed by the housekeeping department while I seek a role that utilizes my education. Mr. Chen listened, then gave Ms. Lin a curt nod. Ms. Lin, looking equally stunned, translated for Vance, though he had understood Sarah's English perfectly. Mr. Chen turned his cold, analytical gaze on Vance. He spoke slowly in Mandarin, and Ms. Lin translated every precise, cutting word, her voice betraying none of her own surprise. Mr. Vance, you have a Harvard-educated expert in Chinese-American business relations, cleaning your toilets. This is why your presentation failed. You did not prepare, and you do not see the talent you already have. Vance opened his mouth, but no sound came out. He had no defense for his prejudice or his incompetence. Mr. Vance stood frozen, thoroughly humiliated by Mr. Chen's assessment in front of his entire executive team. The power in the room had completely shifted. Mr. Chen, now relaxed, gestured for Sarah to take a seat at the main table, a seat Vance had denied her. The Hawthorne Grand is flawed, Mr. Chen said to Sarah in Mandarin, smiling warmly. But with you here, perhaps it has potential. He then turned to Mr. Vance, switching to Ms. Lin for translation. We will proceed with the investment discussion. On one condition. Ms. Jenkins handles the negotiations from now on. As Vance gaped, Mr. Chen reached into his breast pocket and pulled out a personal black and gold business card, different from the standard ones his associates carried. He formally presented it to Sarah with 2 hands, a sign of deep respect. If Mr. Vance does not recognize your value, he said quietly in Mandarin, I will. My Shanghai office is hiring. Vance, seeing his only opening to save the deal and his job, scrambled. Of course, Mr. Chen. Yes. Miss Jenkins. It seems there has been a terrible oversight on our part. A clerical error, clearly. He forced a painful, desperate smile and looked at Sarah, his new boss in this negotiation. Sarah, I apologize. Effective immediately, you are promoted to Director of International Guest Relations. Your office will be on this floor. Please join us. Sarah looked at the humiliating job offer from Vance, then at the powerful business card from Mr. Chen, and finally nodded curtly at Mr. Chen, a silent acknowledgement. Thank you, Mr. Vance. Now, regarding the tax abatements, Mr. Chen, here is what you really need to know. In the quiet shift of a Boston morning, a voice that was ignored became the only one that mattered. It's a powerful reminder that we must look past the uniform to see the person, because true worth is never defined by a job title. True brilliance is often hidden in plain sight, waiting only for the opportunity to be seen. What did you think of Mr. Chen's final test for Mr. Vance? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you believe in the power of Black brilliance and stories that uplift, help us amplify these voices by sharing this message and subscribing to our channel.